apprentices and delivery staff must wear PPE at all times in an official workshop. Note that these practical examples are filmed in a teaching environment.
Okay, so with our first piece installed now then, it just remains for us to find out how much conduit we need to fit into the remainder of the run, and then cut that to size before we work on it. So looking at that then, we're looking at about 450mm there, and again 450 on that side, so that's about 900mm. So we measured then, that was 900, so there's my 900 mark, but just to keep things simple and give myself a metre, a bit more slack to play with there. So we'll just mark the metre there, and then we'll just quickly cut this piece away. Okay, so I've cut myself a metre length of pipe, and I've marked the centre of it there at 500mm. We're going to put in a 90-degree bend. Now I say a 90-degree bend because we're going to go around this corner, but of course that corner might not be 90 degrees. So what we're going to do first is put in as near as I can to a 90 degree and just offer it up and see if it fits nicely or whether it needs a bit taken in, a bit taken out. So first off then, make sure it's going to bend roughly on the mark. You don't have to be too fussy here. We're literally just putting a bend in the middle of the pipe. So 1 foot on the bender, 1 hand on the pipe, 1 on the form, and down. And that is more or less about 90 there. So nice easy bend. Like I say, it kind of looks like it might be a bit over, a bit under, but let's offer it up and see how it compares. As we can see then, that is not a great fit. We've got some play in there where this is not quite a 90-degree bend. So looking at that, I just need to take a little bit out to the bend. So I'm placing that back inside the bender. So making sure that we're working actually on the bend there. We're just going to take a little bit out of there, not much. Okay, and again, probably didn't look as if it moved, but let's see what difference that made. Okay, and that sits in there nicely now, there's no play in there. So, yeah, I'm happy that's a snug fit for that bend. Okay, so I've marked this end then as the right hand. When you're marking up conduit, when you're working on conduit, you're making your marks, when you're stood in the area, when you're offering it up, marking it, by the time you turn around and go back to your bending machine where you're going to be working on it, you can get sort of disorientated. So it's handy just to give yourself little reminders which end you're working on so you don't make any mistakes. So this is the right hand side. So as I look at this on the right hand side, that's my through box end. So what I know now then is this is where my thread needs to end. So I'm just going to give that a little score, just so I don't lose that mark. And then there's my cut. So again, cutting nice and square. And now we just need to thread up to the mark. So this one now, this is the left hand side, so this is the box which is going to a bush and a coupler. So my mark on here then is the end of coupler. So if I offer that up, okay, so that's on my line, and that's where my thread needs to end. And I'm just going to cut in the middle. So my first piece and my second piece, obviously I couldn't screw this together while it's fitted on the wall there, so I've had to take it down. I've got it positioned in the bending machine so that the double set is pointing straight up the same way as the face of the bots. When this is screwed in, that needs to be pointing up the same way as well to carry around the bend, so we can get them nicely in line. Okay. Okay then, so let's offer our piece in, see how that fits. Sits in there quite nicely. I'm just going to pop this screw in first just to hold it in place. Okay, don't tighten anything up too tight at first. Give yourself a bit of chance to move everything around so you can get your threads in line nicely. Okay, again, just finger tight on that. Don't get that too tight up there. Now we need to do the other side. Okay, so that's on there loosely, but we know it's going to go in. So in terms of your endpoint assessment, getting this conduit to sit nicely and level and everything to industry standards, boxes and everything in the right place. Obviously, it's going to be taken apart, it's going to be measured to make sure it's all nice and accurate. But getting this double set is absolutely crucial to get that right and in line. If it's not sitting in there nicely, you're never going to make it look like a good job. So it's really important that you practice manipulating your double sets, make them deeper, shallower, bring them back in line, because if you can do anything you wish with this, then you'll not have any problems at all. Good luck.